cup of coffee has been submitted by our very much beloved Michael Yates. And he had actually shared this in the comment section. It's been several weeks back, and I don't think that everybody had the opportunity to read what he had written. So I asked him to write it again, and he was gracious enough to do so. The time was the late 60s, and I had joined a local spiritual church to see what it was all about. There was nothing much to see until a transfiguration medium was booked to appear. I bought the ticket for the event, which was to be held at 4 p.m. one summer's afternoon. I arrived early, and the medium and others were drinking tea in the anteroom. A pine table, chair, and a table lamp with a red bulb was all one could see. I did a check around the area for cables, etc. Nothing. People started arriving, so I sat in the second row about 10-ish feet from the medium. The hall held about 50 people. It filled up, and after a brief introduction, the medium took her seat at the table. She was a frail lady, about 78 years old, with white short hair and a braid around it. She wore a short-sleeved blouse. Anyone who wished to leave was told to do so then, because once the session began, the doors would be locked. The window blinds went down, and the red light was switched on, which was surprisingly bright and lit up the hall. We were told when an entity was identified and started a conversation with an audience member to keep it going with no long pauses. As the medium began, an ectoplasmic substance came down like snowflakes on her, settling on her hair and face, which caused her to take on a completely different appearance. After 3 or so minutes, the ectoplasm drifted from her and floated toward the ceiling. Then, after another minute, the process began again. She took on the appearance of about 12 different people and spoke with an audience member who had identified the person. The conversations were not garbled rubbish that many mediums give, but in-depth conversations. The medium took on the likenesses of people ranging from a child, a bald fat man, a woman with long black hair, and others. From my observation, there was no trickery. I was too close to her and would have noticed any deception. Seated in front of me were 2 middle-aged women. When the last entity began forming, one lady said to the other, "That's Dad." Dad then had a conversation with them. Outside in the car park, I asked the 2 sisters if that was their dad, and they both said yes, it was. He even spoke with the same northern accent and a slight lisp. This proved beyond doubt to me that there were forces at work, good or bad, beyond our senses. Were they actually departed relatives? I don't know. But what I do know is that there is some kind of other world. Thank you so much, Yates. I appreciate you taking the time to type that out and share that with us. That is one of the things that I have never experienced, don't know that I do want to experience, is a transfiguration medium. Because I think the closest that I have seen on that, I mean, pictures and different things over the years doing studies on these things. The movie A Haunting in Connecticut, I think that the child was a transfiguration medium on that. It seems like that some of the appearances or manifestations seem to come and go. I don't know if it's a popularity thing with ghosts. It's like, oh, we've tried this before, let's try another method. I know that during Victorian times that there were quite a few manifestations that were expected. One of them was as far as the ectoplasm and stuff. Some of those things have been debunked, but it's like anything else. You have people that are genuine, and then you have people that, through deception and trickery, can mimic what is actually genuine. And that's always a really hard thing. I know that the amazing Randy was one who used to go around and debunk a lot of things. If it's a fraud, they need to be debunked. But just because it can be replicated does not mean that there are not authentic, manifestations. So that's walking a razor's edge on that. And I will tell you that Yates is a keen observer. He truly is. I know that there's been different things in videos that I didn't pick up even in editing. And he's like, hey, was that this and was that that? And so I trust when he says that there was no trickery or anything. If it had been there, he would have noticed it. Thank you, Yates. I appreciate you greatly. Please share your other spooky experiences, supernatural, paranormal, could be legends of your region, different things like that. If it's a story that someone has shared with you, please share them with me. If you want a video made on the email, I try to do it verbatim. If you have trouble writing or something you don't know what to say, let me know. And I can write something up, email it back to you. Once I have your approval, then I can go ahead with the video. Mail those things in to cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and the email address is in the comment section, or it's in the description box. If you just want somebody to listen to you that is not going to judge you, not going to make fun of you in any way, send me an email on that too, because the more that we share these stories, these experiences, it's poking holes in darkness, folks. It's bringing light to these things. You all have a beautiful, blessed day.